Ladies and girls, Andy here, day 172 of the Inner Winner Show.
What if there's men?
There's no men. Men don't listen to my podcast. I'm here with my guest. You may have guessed. You may have just heard her. Little rambunctious teen likes to interrupt my introductions. Imogen. Mm-hmm. What's your middle name for doxing purposes? Imogen?
Nope.
Marie?
Nope.
Sanders?
Sanders.
You're in so much trouble now. You're going to get doxed. What are we going to talk about today, young lady?
We're going to talk about what? 5 things
guys need to do to get laid. So I was originally going to write this myself, but we actually thought that it would be far more fun if I hand the reins over to you. I haven't written any notes. You know nothing about like what my 5 things would be.
No, I don't.
And I'm going to throw the ball into your court and see what a girl thinks that guys need to do to get laid. Now, the obvious caveat is like, you know, you've spent 3 years with me, so you pretty much know. You've read like a ton of shit on my website, so your answer shouldn't be too far off mine, but...
Can't imagine it would be, no.
Yeah, this is a great way for me to do less content myself. No, we actually did think this would be fun, so let's dive into it. So what's your number one thing? No pressure, but if you get these wrong, everyone's going to judge you. And more importantly, they're probably going to judge me. Okay. And they're probably going to say, like, why are you judging such a stupid bitch?
These people...
I'll get a lot of emails saying that, basically, if you do a bad job.
These people sound very judgmental.
Who?
Your audience.
Can you not judge my audience? So what's the first thing that guys need to do to get laid? To get some pussy, to get a little... If they want to get some dick, fine. But that's probably you just go on Grindr. So if a heterosexual male wants to get heterosexual sexual intercourse with a person that identifies as feminine or female, how does said masculine entity go about doing so?
Be physically attractive.
Be physically attractive. You heard it here, losers. You have to look really good.
It's probably number 1, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, that's not like you can't, but it's going to be like 100 times harder if you're not.
You're playing on like ultra nightmare difficulty, like really, 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 really impossibly difficult. Mm-hmm. You can bust your ass. There are different ways to get laid. Like, you can be super rich. You can be Mr. Ultra. I'll play the numbers game and talk to like 12,000 women. But getting yourself attractive makes all this stuff 10 times easier. Yep. You don't have to play the numbers game as hard. Girls will be way more into you. And if you don't get yourself attractive, you miss out on a hell of a lot of things. There's like a hell of a lot of like tiers or levels. When I say tier, I mean TIERS. Tiers or levels that just don't open up to you unless you get yourself attractive. Like, no girl is going to lust after you and masturbate over you and look at your pictures and tell you that you're hot and sexy if you don't get yourself attractive. That just doesn't happen. You don't tell a rich guy that he's sexy if he's fat and bald. It doesn't happen. No. And she's certainly not going to be doing like crazy, filthy shit with you unless you throw a ridiculous amount of money like a Saudi prince throwing freaking $12,000 at Instagram models. I respect the hustle. So, yeah, I like that. That's a great first one. Get yourself, and we should clarify, you know, I make it clear in my podcast and my website, but for anyone who's a newcomer to the podcast, you don't have to look amazing. That definitely helps, and go for it and shoot for that. But you have to look way above average, and that really doesn't take you much.
Yeah, I think we've talked about it before, but there's like a threshold almost. Yeah. It's just like every girl would have, every person has like an attractive enough threshold. Yeah. And once you pass that, it's like, cool. Like anything above it's great. Like there's another like level where it's like they're amazingly attractive and it's like, oh my God. But like to get from good enough to amazing, it's like a hell of a lot of work. And obviously strive for that. But it is really just about meeting that.
And don't think that it's binary. Like if you're sitting there as a fat man and you're thinking, God, I can never look like, you know, Chris Hemsworth, or that's the only attractive guy. No, I'm no good with freaking celebrities. But like, you know, you're thinking I have to get myself to a top tier bodybuilder level. It's like, no, you don't. You just have to keep improving. And the more you improve, the better your results become. You don't go from 0 to 100. Like it's not a switch. It's a spectrum. The more attractive you can make yourself, the easier this stuff becomes. The more options you have, the more matches you get on Tinder, the more girls will be receptive to you when you walk up to them on the street, etc. All right, that's a good first one. What's the second thing that guys need to do to get laid?
The next thing I would say would be to play the numbers game. And in saying that, what I mean is just talk to a lot of girls, whether that's on Tinder or in person or whoever else that might be. It's just that you need to be talking to a lot of people to actually find the ones that want to have sex with you.
Are you saying that it's not possible to win every girl over?
I am saying that, yeah.
What the hell?
Because some will have boyfriends. And
yeah, but if you're
preferences
enough of a Chad, surely you can fuck the married ones and the ones with boyfriends and girlfriends, right?
Nope.
Whoa, have the pickup artists been lying to me? But they said that you can get any girl.
Nope.
Oh, shit. Oh, no. Okay. Yeah, so you can either spend all your time learning all these stupid pickup routines and jerking yourself off and going like, I'm going to win over the girls that have boyfriends. Or you can just say like, I'm going to go talk to that other girl over there because maybe she's single. Oh, she's not. Okay, cool. I'll go talk to this one. Oh, this one is single. Okay, cool. Like, nice to meet you. Let's have a chat.
Yeah.
Yeah. You waste so much time, or guys waste so much time on girls that aren't that interested in them, or aren't even single, or aren't ready for a relationship, or aren't that attracted to you, or are just here to play games, all this kind of stuff. Guys will dick about trying to win those girls over instead of, I'm going to go talk to the next girl and then the next one. And then, in the time you're spending, because some guys, we've talked about this before, a ton of guys will spend weeks and weeks and weeks and even months in the worst case scenarios, but weeks talking to one girl saying like, I'm trying to win her over. We're like having some sick conversation over text and we're bantering and all this other stuff. It's like, mate, in the time you've done that, I've had like I could go out and meet like 10 women. I could fuck 10 women in the time where you're pissing away your time on one who's not going to sleep with you.
And I think just when you get focused on one person that's maybe not that into you, there's a lot of heartache involved in that.
Yeah, you're basically tormenting yourself. Yeah. Anguish and torment. You're sitting there going like, why can't this girl like me? Or like, hopefully she likes me. Maybe she'll say yes to a date soon. I shouldn't push her too hard though. It's like, mate, you just sitting in a soap opera. You could just go outside and talk to more girls. Or go on Tinder and talk to more girls. Yep, perfect. Okay. So be attractive, play the numbers game, which just means talk to a lot of women, or don't sit there and talk to one woman. What's the third thing? Third thing guys need to do to get some of that kissy, kissy, pussy, pussy.
I'm thinking the next one would probably be like, have your shit together. Then that's a very broad one. So and I kind of left it broad intentionally because I didn't want to necessarily close it off to just like one specific niche, but it's more just like have something you're working towards, like it's almost like be a respectable human, like be a person that's worth having sex with, if that makes sense.
That makes no sense.
No.
You're being incredibly female and wishy-washy. Convert that into something actionable, and that might help define what you're trying to say.
I guess it's like have something going for you, like either have a job that's like interesting or have some hobby. Just don't be a train wreck of a person.
Yeah.
I guess is what I'm trying to say. I'm not sure how to make that a bit more tangible.
Okay, so if you make it tangible, what I'd say is like get some hobbies. If you don't have any hobbies, just go and try new ones. Go to meetup.com and try some new ones. Have something that you're working on, have some mission. Even if all you're working on is getting laid, that in itself will have interesting, like small parts to it, small elements of it. You have to go to the gym. That's interesting. You have to be improving yourself. You have to be getting your life together to some extent, right? You can't get laid. I think a better way of phrasing what you said is you can't get laid if you're a complete and utter fucking zero.
Yeah, and it's like even little things. I think you might have even talked about these in your guides that you've written on your site, like Tinder guide. Like for the most part, it's ideal to have your own apartment, and said apartment or, wherever you live should be fairly well kept. Like you can't be taking a girl to, you can to your parents' house, but it's not preferable, and you don't want it to be a big mess. Like that will only keep girls around for so long. So maybe I'm diverting from the point too much because that's more like retaining girls but I think good sex will only take getting laid so far.
Yeah, for sure. And you don't have to have all of your ducks lined up in a row, so to speak. Like you don't have to be perfect. And if you're sitting there and you do live at home with your mum and your dad and you don't have a job and all that, just start working on these things one by one. Go and get a job, go and get a part-time job. Start planning to move out, even if you have to live with other people, like housemates or roommates or whatever, that's fine. Just start doing little bits and pieces of these. If you're fat, start losing some weight. If you've never been to the gym, start going to the gym. If you don't have any hobbies, go find some. Join a sports club or something. Figure out some way to start building a life. Yeah. Basically, you can't be a zero is how I would rephrase what you said. You can't be a complete and utter train wreck of a human being. Like living at home with mum and dad with no hobbies and no friends. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I think that pretty much applies to everything. Every goal that you would ever want to have, you can't really achieve. You have to fix the first thing, the most important things first. The foundations first. You can't be like depressed, living at home with no friends and no hobbies. You have to fix that.
Yeah, I think nobody can really have sex with someone that they think is a loser. Or no one wants to. Like.
And again, let's make it clear. You don't have to be Mr. Winner. I certainly wasn't for a long time. You could argue I'm not right now. Like, there's always stuff that you're working on. So don't think that you have to be, Mr. Crazy, confident, amazing, cool life. We joke all the time that, like, we're not cool. We don't have a cool life at all. But, like, we get laid because we have, like, a lot of the foundations.
Yeah. You just need something.
Yeah. All right, that's number 3. What's number 4? What's your number 4?
My next one would probably be, okay, I'll explain this one, but like to take action or to pull the trigger.
Take the lead?
Yeah, because there's something to be said about playing the numbers game, but then a separate thing being if you're going on a date with a girl, you need to actually initiate.
Yeah.
Because if you don't initiate, you will never get laid.
You'll get lucky, but that's the point. It's luck at that point. And so you can either have sex with most of the girls that you go on dates with, or you can just get lucky once in 50 dates. Because girls don't make moves and, it is up to you to pull the trigger. Pulling the trigger is how I would, I'd frame that myself, pull the trigger. And that doesn't mean you have to be smooth or confident or charming or amazing at it. You can be awkward and nervous as fuck. You can stutter, you can stumble, you can, completely fall over yourself when you're trying to invite her back to your apartment. That's perfectly fine. But you still have to try. You have to try.
I think speaking from personal experience and talking to a lot of female friends, I think the girl will almost never be the person that's like, come back to my place, or do you want to like do X, Y, Z, like let's go grab a drink. Like you need to be the one. Or the guy needs to be the one if he's seeking, the goal of getting laid. Needs to be the one to...
You're the one that wants to get laid as the guy. You're the one that wants to get laid, so fucking make the moves, right? She's open to having sex with you, but she's not the one that's trying to improve her sex life. That's you. So, take some personal responsibility, man up, and make the moves. Yeah. What's your 5th? 5th and final.
I've actually been thinking about this the whole time we've had this conversation, and I'm not sure, so I might turn this one on you.
No, that's bullshit. What's your 5th one?
Since this is... I don't have a 5th one. So you might have to think of one.
No, you can't. You're being bratty right now. I'm going to have to discipline you on air, young lady. What's your 5th one?
I don't think I have a 5th one.
Well, just make something up. Come on, this is how clickbait works. I couldn't have necessarily come up with 5 things. The point is you put the headline, 5 things guys need to, and then you just make up 5. Even if there's only 3, it doesn't matter. You just pad it out. That's how clickbait works.
Don't give up.
Don't give up. That's so gay. But yeah.
Like you need to keep trying.
Don't quit.
Yeah.
Yeah. You cheated though. That's my website motto. You cheated on saying that.
So be it. I cheated.
But got there. Just don't quit. Just keep going.
Yeah. I think
getting laid is inevitable if you keep this process going.
Yeah. And we've actually kind of talked about that in relation to any goals. It's that if you just keep working on something and are really stubborn about it, it's almost hard not to get there if you just keep trying and trying and trying.
Yeah, you'll accidentally eventually reach your goal.
Yeah.
You'll stumble upon your goal and go like, oh shit, I made it. How the fuck did I get here? I didn't think I'd be able to get laid. What the hell? And it's like, yeah, because you just didn't quit. No, you need to be doing stuff along the way, obviously. But if you just keep working on yourself, keep playing the numbers game, do all the stuff that you talked about, you'll eventually accidentally reach your goal. The only reason that people fail is not because they're a loser or because they're ugly, excuse me, or because they're too short or not white or whatever retarded bullshit they come up with. It's because they quit. They quit because of those things. They think, oh, fuck, I'm a loser, so I should quit. But no, you quit. It's not because you're a loser that you quit. You just quit.
Yeah.
Good shit. That's 5.
That's my 5. Do you
Play
have
the numbers
anything
game. No,
to add?
This wasn't about me, all right?
No?
It's about you.
Oh, okay.
Play the numbers game. Mm-hmm. Get yourself to a point where you're attractive.
Yep.
Don't quit. Don't be a fucking 0.
Mm-hmm. And these are my points, so I should know them.
Yeah. How do you not know these points? Make the moves. Pull the trigger.
Yep.
Which is another way of saying take action. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, these aren't too far off what I would have said. Yeah, I would have said pretty much the same stuff. I absolutely would have said get yourself to a point where you're attractive, play the numbers game, and don't quit. Those are 3 that I absolutely would have said. I would also add take in baby steps every day. Do a little bit every single day. Just be consistent with it. You don't have to change the world. You don't have to have discipline or willpower or motivation or any of that. Just do a tiny little bit every day. Work on your self-improvement. Make yourself a better man every single day. Just a tiny little bit. And then that shit adds up. Might take you a year. Might take you 2 years. Took me probably 3 years before I got to a point where I was like, oh shit, I know how to get laid really easily. That took probably 3 years. But I took little baby steps every day. And again, it's not binary. It's not like I woke up, after exactly 3 years and started getting laid. It's like I was getting laid that whole time. It's just 3 years until I got to a point where I was like, oh shit, I really know what I'm doing. Like this is easy now. So maybe I can say that as 3 years before I got to a point where it's easy mode, where it's like, yeah, I know how to get laid. It's not even hard. It's like tying my shoelaces. It really is about as difficult as like, taking a shit, tying my shoelaces, brushing my teeth. It's like that. It really is that difficult to get laid at this point. Has been for a couple of years. So that's what's waiting for you if you do those 5 things we talked about. Yeah. Good shit. Anything else you want to shout out?
Shout out.
Shout outs to masks
used to do shout
and
outs
COVID.
all
Shout
the
outs to
time.
COVID. Very scary virus. Very terrifying virus.
0.0
If you're over the life average,
something.
if you're over the average life expectancy, COVID is very scary. Also, what is scary if you're over average life expectancy is falling and breaking your hip in the shower.
I think everything.
Dementia, Alzheimer's, cancer,
I think those ones
heart
are
attacks,
legitimately scary.
the flu, pneumonia. Shout outs to my grandpa who died of pneumonia. I miss you, buddy.
Yeah.
Lung cancer, cancer in general.
You said cancer, but that's okay.
Bingo night getting cancelled.
Well, I think if it's like
Dying alone
if
with
it's one of
nobody
your
around you
last
because
days on
nobody
Earth,
actually gives a fuck about old people, but they all just pretend that they do.
You're
And this
probably-
is all the big circle jerking, virtue signaling thing where we all pretend we care about old people, but no one actually gives a fuck. When was the last time any of you went to a nursing home to check on the people there? Never.
okay, well,
Shout outs to all of that.
I don't think that was actually an opportunity for me to say anything, but
You can say something. Who are you shouting at?
who am I shouting out? No, I actually don't know if I have to shout out.
Shout outs to not shouting at anyone.
Okay.